Welcome to my Goodwill book call. I did not buy all these books at once. However, I put them all together just to see how many I had. I was like, I've got to do a video on this. So here it is. So the first book here is this one, James Rowling and Rebecca Cantrell, The Blood Gospel. I have not read this book yet. However, I have read many books by James Rowling, specifically his Sigma Force novel series, and I absolutely love them, so I'm hoping I like this book just as much. So that's the first one. And then I have two by Dan Brown. I have read both of these. I had them in the paperback versions, and I actually got the Inferno paperback version from Goodwill as well. But I'm doing a hardback collection of these books with Robert Langdon in them. His best known one is The Da Vinci Code, and that's actually the first book I read by Dan Brown and loved it, and have been reading his books since then. So these ones are added to my collection. This one here is in really good condition. It doesn't even look red. Next here is Beauty and the Beast, Lost in a Book. I saw this one at Walmart, but didn't want to pay the full price for it, which was $16.99. However, soon after seeing it at Walmart, I went into Goodwill for just a trip to look around and saw this book there and was like, I have to have it. And it's $3.99, which is actually a little bit more than the usual price for hardbacks. Hardbacks are usually $2.99 and softbacks, paperbacks, are usually $1.99. So I've read part of it. I got to page 114 and stopped. I think that was actually a book I was reading for last year's Booktubeathon and didn't finish it. Hopefully I will soon though. J.K. Rowling's The Casual Vacancy. She wrote the Harry Potter series, and I've been wanting to read this one. I have heard weird things about it since it's such a drastic change from Harry Potter. Have not read it yet, but it's on my to be read list. And this one here doesn't even look red. It's in such good condition. A little bit dirty, but it's not bent up or torn up. Next I have Thirst, Deepest Desires, Instant Remorse. This is the number 2 of the Chris Pike books. Includes Phantom, Evil Thirst, and Creatures of Forever. I have the first one. His series of these books were put into volumes, and they each have 3 books each, I believe. I have the first one, and I've read all the way through the first 2 books and partly into book 3. So once I finish that, I will continue with reading this. This one's a bit more dirty and bent up, but not bad for being a Goodwill book. Next is John Green's The Fault in Our Stars. I borrowed this book from a friend and read it and loved it, and it actually got me reading his other books, but I didn't have a copy of my own, so I found this one at Goodwill and got it. And it's actually in good condition. Next 2 are books by Nicholas Sparks. I borrowed The Best of Me from the same friend and read it and loved it. Of course, I love most of Nicholas Sparks' books, so I wanted a copy for my collection. Found it there and got it. And I have not read The Longest Ride. However, it's in my to be read list. The next 3 are the Percy Jackson books. Books 2, 3, and 4. This series I've been wanting to read for a while. I believe I've read book 1. Might have been 1 or number 5. I don't remember, but I have seen the first movie. And these 3 are on my to be read for this year's booktubeathon. So I should have those read by the 5th of July. I mean, excuse me, the 5th of August, when this year's booktubeathon ends. If I like the books, which I'm pretty sure I will, I would love to have them in hardback, a whole set, along with some of his other books. Sometimes it's good to just sit back and relax and read a book that doesn't overwork your brain, and you can just kind of enjoy it. And that's what I like about these types of books. Okay, these next three are Twilight related. I have read the 4 books of the Twilight series, along with the rewrite of the original Twilight that was the anniversary edition. So this here is a book by the director, Catherine Hardwicke, and it's basically a movie companion, and it has things like that. I've flipped through it and read some of the pages, and others I kind of just looked at because it's just talking about fashion and stuff. But I really like the parts about the sets and the characters and things like that. This one is The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner, an Eclipse novelette. I have not read this one yet. I do plan on to. I kind of want to reread the series and have this one read with it. So that's why I'm kind of waiting for that one. And then this here is Illustrated Movie Companion. And I've looked through here and read some of the parts. But these were all Twilight related. And then Stephanie Meyer is the author of Twilight. And I saw this book by her, which is not part of the Twilight series. I actually checked out the audiobooks from the library a few years ago and started listening to it and didn't finish because I had to return them. So I finally found the novel for a reasonable price for $3 instead of what the usual price of $25.99. So there's that one. Move those down. And then the next 3 are the Hunger Games series. I wish I had found this one in hardback, but I didn't. And so I also have Catching Fire and Mockingjay. So the first one I have not read, but it's on my list for this year's booktubeathon. And then I have lists of books I'm going to read each month. And Catching Fire is on my August to be read, and Mockingjay is in September. So by the end of this year I should have all 3 read, and I hope someday to get this in hardback. I'll probably be looking at Goodwill again for that. But for being Goodwill books, they're actually in really good condition. The way I keep saying about the condition is that this one here, the back cover is partially ripped off, and there's some that I've seen there where the covers are all bent up and just in awful condition. So I actually saw this one in the same editions as these, but it was just in such bad condition that I didn't want to get it. So that is my Goodwill book haul. I'll more than likely have more books in the future from there, and I might do short hauls from that in the future for booktube type of videos. I shop at Goodwill for books for 2 main reasons. One is to add to my collection of books, such as my Dan Brown ones, Angel and Demons and Inferno there. I look for the hardback versions that are in really good condition and can add to my collection. And also books like the Nicholas Sparks ones and The Fault in Our Stars. I look for ones that are in good condition. Often if it's a popular book, there'll be more than one copy, and I get the one that's in best condition. But even if there are multiple copies, if none of them are in good condition, I don't get it. I wait until I find one that I can go, okay, this looks like I bought it at Walmart and have been the only one to read it. So that's what I go there and pick out books for my collection. The second reason I shop at Goodwill for books is for books like the Percy Jackson series and the Hunger Games series. Books that are all about hype as the reason I want to read them, but don't know whether or not I'll actually like them. I still try to get the books in the best condition, but they don't have to be absolutely perfect. Like the Sea of Monsters book here. The back is kind of ripped. It doesn't bug me as much because I honestly don't know if I'm going to like it. And if I do, someday I hope to have this series in the hardback versions. So for a first read, finding out whether or not I actually like them or not, having it in paperback that I got for $2 at Goodwill is a good start. Kind of as a, I guess, third reason to go to Goodwill is I can find hardback copies for $3 versus $20 to $30 that you'd normally pay for a hardback book. And sometimes I look out and find that hardback book in really good condition. So when I go to Goodwill, I have in mind books that I want to add to my collection, or books that I'm just interested in reading but don't really know if I'm going to like or not, and don't want to spend the full price of the book, but instead getting it for $2, $3 to find that out. And sometimes I luck out and get really good books there for a very small percentage of the original price. Well, I hope this video inspires you to go to Goodwill or a similar type of stores like Salvation Army or any other place that you can find very cheap books, to go and browse and expand your collection of books, or pick up a book or two that you might be interested in reading but don't really want to pay that full price to find out. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you again next Friday with another book related video, and it might be my July wrap up. I believe that's what's on my schedule. So see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye.